suppose the obvious issues, you know about the issues that have been raised at the conference. There's a lot of criticism of you on the way the force gone the last 4 months, and the people say they're disappointed that there's no constructive engagement. There's a change from last year. What's your reaction?
Well, I suppose we're very much committed to continuing to engage. We have a massive programme of work that's going on. I think it's a great opportunity to be here at the conference today, because there's no doubt that the Garda sergeants and inspectors who are here today having their conference have a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience and a lot of input to make to the programme. Indeed, I suppose the programme is made up of a lot of input that we got during the course of last year from a lot of the members who are in this room. Some very constructive examples, for example, in terms of our crime prevention programme and the rollout of our national crime prevention strategy, but a lot of other operational matters as well. And indeed, a lot of very good ideas and very constructive ideas that the Garda sergeants and inspectors. So I know that from meeting with the executive that they are very committed to the ongoing programme that we have. I suppose it's like any big programme, it is in the stages of being finalised, and the Strategic Transformation Office, as you know, has been established. Once that office is established, a critical part of that is the ongoing communications, and that's something that we're very committed to doing.
They say they can't get meetings with you, they say you treat them like a nuisance.
Well, absolutely not, and I don't see any of our members as a nuisance, and I think I'm on record from the very first day of saying that we will engage with all of our people in a very constructive way, and that will remain my position.
In relation to some of the stories that have broken this week, the Dwyer case, the Bailey case and the McGinn report today, there seems to be a certain vindication for the Garda. What's your reaction to those?
Well, I think, you know, the past week has been a challenging week, but also an interesting week for An Garda Síochána. I suppose in a lot of the cases, in fact in all of the cases, what I'm very conscious of behind all of those cases are families, and I'm very conscious of the impact that it has on all of the families involved in the various cases. I think particularly in the Dwyer case, it shows the professionalism, the dedication and the commitment of members of An Garda Síochána, particularly the investigation team in Blackrock, but also the members of the public that actually found the items in the first place and actually went and had the confidence and the trust in An Garda Síochána to bring them to the Garda station in the first place. And then the way in which Garda James O'Donoghue dealt with the items and his tenacity in following through on every lead. And then, you know, I think again it's an excellent example of the fusion of what I would call good old-fashioned police work, you know, new data analytics and our ability to actually bring it all together. And I'm very conscious as well of the members, our own members, including Garda Breed Wallace and Sergeant Alan Brown, who trawled through absolutely tons of footage of very horrific footage, and also Sarah Sked. And, you know, again, as part of our ongoing transformation, one thing that I would like to see is far more data analytics being used, and we're currently going to the marketplace looking for new analysts. And I certainly think in terms of intelligence-led policing and contributing to investigations such as the very complex investigation there, to be able to present that evidence to a jury in a way that can be translated in an understandable manner, I think it's very indicative of where we're going. But I do think it's a great opportunity to acknowledge the professionalism, the dedication and the commitment of members of An Garda Síochána. Last December, when I was in Family at the Missing Persons Day, we made a commitment to the families of missing persons that we will never give up on tracing their loved ones. And I suppose in the case of Elaine O'Hara, it's a good example. Elaine O'Hara was a missing person, but we will follow every investigative lead that's presented to us, and we will continue to do that.
What about the Bailey case?
In the Bailey case said that it was a source of anguish that Sophie Toscan-Duplantiers' killer had not yet been caught. Is this still a very live investigation?
It absolutely is, and I'm very conscious in that particular case yesterday, the Duplantier family are a bereaved family, and certainly it is a matter of regret to An Garda Síochána that over the last number of years nobody has been brought to justice for that crime, but it remains an ongoing live and open investigation.
Can you say anything about the Fennelly report and when publication is due?
Well, as you're aware, the investigation is ongoing, and I'm sure Mr. Justice Fennelly will produce his report when it's the appropriate time to do so.
The AGSI are concerned about social media attacks on Garda, that Garda have been named on websites, names and addresses put on. Are you investigating that, and what are you doing about their concerns about harassment of Garda on social media?
We have an operation in place in relation to a number of recent incidents where members of the public, including members of An Garda Síochána, were harassed, both on social media and in person. And it's an ongoing investigation, but again we will investigate and we will take appropriate action once the facts of the cases have been established.
Did you testify before Justice Fennelly?
I don't think it would be appropriate to comment in relation to the ongoing Commission of Investigation.
What about the AGSI's criticisms of unarmed Gardaí? They're not trained properly to deal with guns, and also the fact there aren't enough armed Gardaí in places like Dublin and Cork at night time.
Yes, it's something that we're very, very conscious of, and in terms of, I know certainly, again, the Association of Garda Sergeant Inspectors and indeed the Garda Representative Association is something that they've also raised. It's something that we're very conscious of in terms of looking at our armed response capability, not just in those urban centres but right across the organisation, and also in terms of, I'm very conscious as a motion before conference in relation to tactical training, but as part of our review of training, it's something that we will be prioritising in terms of our armed response capability and the appropriate and commensurate training to deliver on that.
Do you agree that all armed Gardaí should be trained to a tactical level?
I think that it's something that we need to look at, and certainly in the context of tactical training, I think tactical training, certainly in the way that I would have known it when I done it, has moved on considerably. And so we are looking at the appropriate and commensurate training to ensure that people are fully competent and capable of carrying firearms in a variety of circumstances.
Because a week doesn't seem to be enough.
Well, as I say, we are looking at that and making sure that it is commensurate and appropriate.
Tim Garda said that Gardaí were slated in the Garda Inspector report in relation to their response to domestic violence, and he inquired about their ability to, their power of arrest in cases of non-fatal assaults. Is there anything you can do about that, to talk to the Minister about that?
Yes, certainly, and something, again, one of the priorities that we have, you will have seen in the recent allocations that I made, domestic violence is certainly a priority, and we would certainly see it as a crime and treat it as a crime. Again, it is a complex area of investigation. In order to deal with that, what I've recently done is established a new unit which amalgamates domestic violence, sexual investigation, human exploitation and child protection. And that's to make sure that we have a consistent and standardised approach to incidents of domestic violence. And part of our new operating model is that we are putting the victim at the centre of everything we do. In the first instance, our objective is to prevent crime from happening, and by that what I mean is making sure that we reduce victimisation where possible, and that includes incidents of domestic violence, incidents of child protection and human exploitation.
Can you just take one more question now, please?
Which, can I just ask, the AGSI has been concerned about the number of Gardaí that are leaving the force every month. Are you satisfied that the number of people that are being recruited currently is a sufficient level to keep the force at a sufficient level above the 13,000 mark?
Well, again, it is something that we're very, very cognizant of, and I'm certainly on record even as late as last week in terms of saying that, in order for us to remain at standstill, we require 325 recruits a year. I would certainly, and I'm very confident that we will continue to see that, but I'm also hopeful and confident that we will see an ongoing trickle of recruitment. Indeed, in my conversations with the Minister and with the Government, it is very clear that there has been a commitment made to not closing Garda College. And I think that is a very positive indicator, and as I say, I'm very confident that recruitment will continue and we will see those numbers increase.
Just the McGinn report, actually, I just need a reaction on that in relation to the fact that the work of the Serious Crime Review Team seems to have been vindicated by this report today.
Well, again, I'm very conscious at the centre of that report there is also a bereaved family, and again I would hope that the report today will in somewhat bring some comfort and some ease to the family, and certainly from the point of the work done by the Serious Crime Review Team, it certainly is, as I understand, vindicated, but that doesn't give us any comfort. Again, what we have to be conscious of is that there is a family behind this. If any new evidence comes to light, it will be pursued, but I think it's only fair to say that at this point in time it's probably not right to hold out hope 30 years later that new evidence is likely to establish anything new.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Commissioner. Thank you.